Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So that fell on deaf ears. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Right. We do like a bit of audience participation. Right, so just a quick warning, while they get themselves sorted out, I will ask you, although it's fairly obvious, please do not walk in front of the guns while we do the display. That does include up the steps, so I put a rope up there just to stop people from actually walking up there. But just bear in mind, we are firing live range. No bullet, no shells in there, but live range. So anyway, good afternoon once again. We are the Nothe Garrison. The guys you see on the parade ground are part of the 1st Dorsetshire Volunteer Artillery, who would have been here back in the 1880s. When the fort was first opened, there was only a skeleton crew here to begin with, but then basically from the early 1880s it was manned with a volunteer artillery force. And these guys are number 7 battery. If you have a look on their uniforms, on their epaulets, they have a number 7 for the battery, V for volunteers, and they also have Dorset on there. Now we're all volunteers. If you're wondering why we're all in silver, all the silver braiding, it just means that we're volunteer soldiers as opposed to the regulars. Now if you have a look at the infantry guys, the guys in the red jackets, they are dressed, all their braiding and everything is in gold. And that just is the difference between the two. Right, so what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to fire both the guns, and we're going to go through the step-by-step of both of them. Pretty much the same for both guns, however there is quite an age difference. The little gun that you can see in the foreground for you guys, the little gun which is in the background for you guys, dates from about 1864 and is what is known as a 2-pound mounted gun. This is actually a replica, but the mounted gun, basically, you were able to strip this gun down within a couple of minutes. There are pins in the wheels, which you just take out, the wheels come off, pins that hold the barrel in, and basically they can be taken out, and then the whole thing can be loaded onto a couple of mules and carted up the mountainside. It was not used in the mainline artillery, it would have been used as a flanking weapon. Everybody know what flanking means? Hands up? No? Yes? No? Well, flanking, like flanks on a horse, just means on the side. It just gives a different perspective to the battle. Obviously you have them firing from a different angle at the enemy, whereas the main artillery would have either been firing in line with our troops or over the head of our troops. The big gun that's in the background that we'll fire again as well later on dates from about 1800 to 1811. It's what we call a 6-pound smoothbore cannon, and the barrel on it is actually original. Now, there is a slim chance with this barrel. We don't know the history of it. We know it's not a British barrel. We think it's possibly French. Now, if it is, there is the slimmest possibility that that gun or that barrel was on the battlefield of Waterloo. As I say, only a slim chance, but it's the right type of gun and it would be the right period. Now we call it a 6-pound smoothbore cannon. Basically 6 pounds denotes the weight of the bore which would have actually been fired out of it. Smoothbore just means that the barrel was actually smooth inside. On a good day, this would throw the 6-pound ball about a mile. Coming round to the little one again, as I say, it dates to about 1864, 2-pound mounted gun, but it's what we call an RML. For those of you who may have looked at the larger guns in there, RML stands for Rifled Muzzle Loader. So rifling, the barrel is actually rifled. So rifling is just a series of spiral grooves ground into the barrel. Now with this thing, it didn't fire a ball, it actually fired a shell-shaped projectile. And the rifling actually has the effect of spinning the projectile, which makes it extremely accurate, and it also increases the range. So on a good day, this would throw a 2-pound projectile about 1.5 miles. Right, so what we're going to do now, before it actually thrashes down with rain, I'm going to get the guys to move up. What we're going to do, we're going to fire off one round with a little gun first, and then I'm going to move the guys over, and we're going to fire a round out the 6-pounder. For those of you who are of a nervous disposition, I will warn you, I will ask you to cover your ears. I don't know whether there's a bag just inside the door. Oh yeah, somebody's got ear defenders. I will ask you to cover your ears just before we fire. We're not firing huge rounds, but in the confines of the fort, it does go off with rather a loud bang. Right, so what we're going to do, as I say, we're just going to go through it step by step. As we go through, I'll explain what they're doing and why they're doing it. Right, carry on.
You going to cover your ears?
Go for it! Attention! Line numbers! Eyes! Front! 1, 2, 3, 4!
Right, so numbers always been important in the military. This for slightly different reasons. Nowadays they train them, it's a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but these numbers slightly different. Each position on the gun had a specific role and had a specific number. And as we go through the drill, I will explain who is what and what they're doing, their job and everything else. General rule of thumb was the higher the number, the least experience you would have been. I do apologise for my back to you. Generally, number 5 at the back, in the early Victorian period and prior, it wouldn't have been uncommon for it to be a young lad. And when I say young, probably about 8 to 10 years old. Now their job pretty much would be the same as a powder monkey on board a ship, because obviously in the early Victorian days, it was still on sailing ships, we didn't have ironclads, and basically you would have had powder monkeys who were bringing the charges up from the magazine up to the guns. Similar here, the boys would have brought the charges up to the guns. When we hit our period, slightly different. In 1870, Queen Victoria, bless her and her government, decided that there should be a programme of education for 5 to 12-year-olds. But anyway, 1880, it was mandatory for 5 to 12-year-olds to go to school. So generally, it wouldn't be uncommon for number 5 in the back, who's going to hold his hand up, for him to be a teenager. As you can see, I'm an aging teenager on the back of the gun. Right, carry on, staff.
Take post!
Right, take post, the guys move up to the gun, and they pick up the tools associated with loading and firing.
Warm out and soon move it!
Right, so number 4 on the gun. As we go down in descending order, he's holding up what we call the worm. W-O-R-M. Now the worm, basically, is a broom handle, for want of a better word, and on the end of it is a metal spiral. What he's doing is actually worming out the barrel, just to make sure there's no debris left over from the previous firing. And as you heard, when he's happy, he will shout that the ball is clear. Right, while he was doing that, number 2 on his gun, he's holding up a very important piece of equipment, his thumb. He was serving the vent. Now the vent is the little hole at the back where we put primer in. And basically, another bit of health and safety, he was stopping oxygen from being sucked back into the ball while they're working on it. For us, it's not really a problem because we're only going to fire targets that's only around there. But we generally only fire about 6 or 7 rounds. But if you could imagine on the battlefield where they were actually firing this gun continuously for a couple of hours, it wouldn't be uncommon, and you will notice when we worm out the barrel after we fire that it will take daily out. And this will probably still be smoking and smouldering. Now there is the very slim chance that you could have unburnt powder in the back of the barrel because it does extend off the vent hole. So basically it's just to make sure that we don't have a secondary flash while the guys are working on the gun.
Load charge!
Right, so load charge. Number 5 brings the charge up from the rear, hands it to the number 4 and places it in the barrel.
Come in!
And he will show that the charge is in. Right, so we come round to number 3 on the gun. He's got a couple of jobs, but in this case he's holding up the rammer or ramrod. And basically what he's going to do is insert it down the barrel and he's going to give it several hard thumps. When he's happy, as you heard, he will check that the charge is home. Now the reason we ram the charge is basically to contain the black powder. If you were to put black powder, I will explain, it's probably what would be classed as a low explosive. If you put black powder on a tray, set light to it, all you do is get a lot of smoke and a flash. Don't bang, nothing. So we have to contain black powder to actually get a bigger bang. So we actually ran the charge home. From here normally we would put in what we call a wad, W-A-D. And basically when we usually wad the gun, and we will be doing it with the larger one, we use a back slang. Reason again is just to contain it. Then the projectile would come in, and in some circumstances, usually depending on the gradient of where they are, they would wad the gun again. And it's just to stop everything from falling out the barrel. But it's all about containment. The harder you contain the charge, the bigger the bang you get, the further the projectile goes.
Here's the charge!
Right, here's the charge. Number 2 on the gun, he's holding up what we call the pricker. Now the pricker in this case, I will just go back and just explain about the rammer as well. It's not steel, anything but steel. So basically the rammer is actually made of brass. The pricker is also made of brass. You don't want to be shoving anything which is the same material, which has the potential to obviously cause a spark. But anyway, number 2, he's piercing the charge with the pricker. Basically what he's doing is opening up the main charge so that when we fire off the primer it actually sets it off. Otherwise it gets really embarrassing. Right, so as you can show me there that the charge is pierced. Carry on. Right, priming the gun. Up until this point we can probably abort the firing. Once we go to priming the gun, it actually means we're actually going to fire it for real.
Good, right!
Right, so the gun is now primed, and you will notice the guys should face away from the gun, and they're covering the ear nearest the barrel. So what we got now is number 1 on the gun. He's arguably the most important. It's his job to fire the gun. He's also sort of a safety officer on the gun, if you like. He will actually look around the gun, just make sure that the guys are faced away, they're covering the ear nearest the barrel. They will also make sure there's nobody in front of the gun that shouldn't be there. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to fire off the round. So please, ladies and gentlemen, cover your ears for the first round. Okay? Was that a bit of a shock? Right, okay. So I'm going to get the NCO to, we'll just clean the gun out, and then take off the gun, and then we're going to put more in the gun. Right, so they're going to take a couple of days to wear this, so I'm just purely game. So on light, number one on the game, he's actually going to like the match. On land, and hopefully it'll keep smouldering away.
Left. Go. Ready.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, please, shut your ears. I'm going to